if my North Star goal is to create a fun experience for Northwest Arkansas families, you can go crazy with that. Like you could come up with so many different things and you don't have to look at what everyone else is doing. You can come up with something completely unique, and that really gets me excited, and that's just a ton of fun.
This is the Startup Junkies podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Startup Junkies podcast. Thanks for tuning in from wherever and however you're tuning in with us. We appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, all of those fun things. My name's Caleb Talley, and I'm a member of the Startup Junkie team, joined by my Startup Junkie co-host, Ty. How's it going?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Excited.
Another beautiful day in Northwest Arkansas.
Another one.
And we're joined by our friend, Michael Barron. How's it going, Michael?
Going great. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about Ozark Float Park. One, kind of tell us what it is exactly, and then let's talk about your origin story, your Wolverine, Marvel,
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, Float Park is sometimes also known as an aqua park. It's a series of modular inflatable obstacles, right? So you inflate each one individually, you chain them together, you float them out on the lake, and then you just go nuts trying to like conquer each one. And if you fall off, even better because you're just in the lake, right? So what Ozark Float Park is going to be is Northwest Arkansas is the very first to be opened here, where you'll have, kids of all ages, adults too, can get in on the fun. Everyone's got a life jacket. We've got lifeguards. So it's going to be safe. It'll likely be at like a public lake or like a place that's already set up for public swimming. So we just go out there and we set it up during the summer. Everyone has a ton of fun. Stay cool in the shade, right? So we'll have like a relaxation station for maybe you don't want to get out there and get the adrenaline running, but you want to be nearby while the kids play and get all tired out. I totally understand.
Supervising.
Exactly, yeah. I've got 3 kids myself, so understanding like, hey, something that's safe where I can kind of see them from the shore and I know that they're okay, but they're having a ton of fun. And it's just going to create, these stories and memories. So anyone who's ever been to a float park, you never forget it, right? So super excited to bring it to Northwest Arkansas because it's about time.
That's awesome. Well, what was the motivation, I guess, for Ozark Float Park originally?
Yeah. So I'm a transplant, like a lot of us here in Northwest Arkansas. I moved around a lot, grew up in Georgia, and then college and work and everything took me out to the West Coast. And we were actually living in Central Valley of California, very, very hot. Not a lot to do in the town we were in. It's a great place, but, just not as many. And COVID was happening at the time. So lockdown, we kind of had that cabin fever, right? And we happened to find at a nearby lake one of these inflatable obstacle courses. And it blew us away. Had so much fun. We were like, okay, we got to come back here. And they stayed so busy. And then we moved to Arkansas. And I was blown away again by how much there is to do, especially for families. Like you can get outside, you can do so many things. And over time, though, I was like, we haven't done in a while. We need to get out on a float park. And I start looking around and I'm like, really, there's not one here. We got one in Tulsa, Dallas, Springfield, Little Rock, right? I was like, this is wild to me because the culture here is so focused around like outdoor activity and like it's a great place to raise a family, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, the fact that there's not one here might be a market opportunity. So that's kind of what started me thinking like, maybe this is worth trying to start my own business around this idea.
No, I 100% agree. It is such an outdoorsy town area. NWA is. What is it that you think when you looked and saw that so surprising? Why do you think it would do so well in this area for such an outdoor community?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. I think it's a lot of the best things about outdoor recreation, right? Because you're going to be out on this like beautiful lake landscape, right? Like there would be trails. We're looking at doing this in possibly a state park. So think about all the things you love about a state park, but then also like everything you want out of like a water park, combined, right? And because it is all like inflatable and temporary, we also have the added benefit where we're not like impacting the environment as much as we would if we were trying to build something like a permanent concrete structure. Like we can just kind of set it up, even like check-in booths and things that can all be temporary, right? So we're not like damaging the natural beauty that we have here in Arkansas. It's just like one more way to engage in it and have a ton of fun. So I think everybody here already kind of like has that mindset. Like they appreciate and love the outdoors. So it's like, let's just have one more fun thing that we can do, especially during the summer heat.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Natural fit. And the opportunity to kind of stack that on top of existing infrastructure with the idea of that being in a park. You don't have to worry about parking lots and access points and trails and establishing that, that foot traffic exists already.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of my big like must-haves was like the one we went to, it was great, but it was all porta potties. And I was like, if I ever start a business, I don't want to force anyone into a porta potty experience if I can help it. So yeah, we're definitely looking at places that already have existing restrooms, infrastructure, parking. And a lot of the state parks kind of already have that. In fact, there's 2 state parks in Arkansas that have their own float park. They're just far from here. So Crowley's Ridge is out in eastern Arkansas.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So yeah, around the Paragould area. And then a friend of mine actually runs one out in Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. And then there's one opening up at the Woolly Hollow State Park. So there's already kind of like some appetite, and we're seeing that it is a good fit, like the state park along with the float park model. So that's part of what we're pursuing as we build this out.
When I see too, there's a I feel like a movement, obviously, with investment in programs like accelerator programs designed for outdoor recreation companies, but also from a state level too. I feel like they're really taking that outdoor economy seriously, and we connected over the Governor's Conference on Tourism and the Outdoor Economy Summit and all of that. So, what was that experience like? Just to kind of see, from a state government level, bringing together industry around the outdoors.
Yes. So I can answer this along with my origin story if you want that too. So you're right. Like Arkansas is like no other place where there's so many resources already set up to help new businesses, especially in outdoor recreation. So we have the State Office of Outdoor Recreation run by people like Catherine Andrews and Becky Flynn. They've been so helpful.
We're fans of theirs.
Yeah. And Catherine was on the podcast a while back. I remember watching that one. And yeah, they put together that GovCon event, right? So seeing all this excitement and momentum was a big part of me thinking, okay, maybe it's safe for me to really go out on a limb here because starting a business was never something I thought I would do. I was very much happy to like go to college, get a decent job, like what more could you want? And then really it was like noticing, hey, there's this thing that could actually benefit the community. I had gone through cycles in my life where I'd try to come up with a better mousetrap, and I'm like, man, somebody's got to make this. And I never pulled the trigger. But this was something where I'm like, this isn't just about, I have a better solution to some problem. It's, I would love to have I want to be the customer. Like I want to go play in the float park. Let's be honest, right? I'm a kid at heart, so I'm like I want this for me and my family, and I think the rest of the region would just benefit from it too. So that's where I was like, okay, I'm convinced this will be a net positive for all of Northwest Arkansas, but can I personally take the risk? Because I'm pretty risk averse, and it was through researching things like the State Office of Outdoor Recreation, things that the governor's been doing, things here locally, like Startup Junkie, like the GORT program out of University of Arkansas. Like, as I realized how much there was waiting for me to just raise my hand and say, hey, I might want to start a business. And then people came in and started opening doors. And all these things kind of started clicking into place to where like, I've just been astounded by the startup ecosystem here. And I mean, I can tell you the truth. I'm building this plane as I fly it, right? Like I don't have a background in like park management or that sort of thing. Eagle Scout, so I've got everything that comes with that. But yeah, it's been very much like a growth mindset sort of stretch thing of like, hey, can I actually pull this off? And I still kind of have days where I'm like, am I actually doing this? But so having so many people like rooting for me from the state and from all these different organizations, like I never would have guessed that all that was ready for me to just like take the first step.
Just so you know, we're going to package all of that and roll that out as like the highlight promo video. That's fantastic.
I feel like that's like the kernel that I can bring personally because I haven't built a business yet, right? But,
that's awesome.
No, this whole journey that you're going on, like you said, being in the NWA, Northwest Arkansas area, it's like once you have an idea, you see so many people hop on and want to help, be supportive. Is that what makes it fun and what makes you keep going and wanting to pursue this? Or what's the most fun every day you like enjoy about building something like this?
Okay, absolutely. That's a good question because it is fun, even though we're still early stage and it is a grind. It's a fun grind. And I think that's part of what reassures me of like, yeah, I should keep going, right?
Yeah, totally.
As a new entrepreneur, there are definitely times where again and again, it's a roller coaster. I have times where I'm like, oh man, this is unstoppable. We're going to do it. It's going to be amazing. And then 6 hours later, I might be like, oh man, what am I doing here? But yeah, the parts that make it really fun is a lot of it is kind of that relationship building and getting to know people who know people who know people, and seeing where those trails can lead. A big part of that was when I went to the GovCon pitch contest, and it was the first time I'd actually really spoken publicly about this business. I was still pretty shy. Like I didn't want someone to come and like undercut me or like someone just to build this before I could, right? That's the typical like entrepreneur paranoia.
You want to keep it from everyone until it's ready to go.
Yeah. So then I was invited to come to this pitch contest, and I was like, maybe this could be a good opportunity for me. I almost talked myself out of it more than once, thinking, what if I just spill the beans, right? I give out this great idea, but I get there, and it was so fun to meet other people who were doing their own businesses, some really smart, capable people doing awesome stuff. And like just being in that room was already a ton of fun. And then getting to share this idea that I cooked up just, at my house, like in my free time, and hearing from people who are like industry experts saying, yeah, you should do that. I almost kept like I guess it's the self-talk kept telling me someone eventually is going to say, you're not allowed to do this. Like you got to stay in your lane. And so like kind of branching out and having people hear about the idea, give me their thoughts, offer to like join forces together, all that sort of stuff. Like it's kind of exhilarating. And it's making it really fun. And then of course there's like the creativity of it as well. I think I'm definitely like a problem solver. So that's like when I'm in my day job, I'm always like, let me find the next problem. Let me solve that problem. And when it comes to starting a business, there's a never ending stream of new things to solve.
That is the whole job.
Right?
Yeah.
So having kind of a blank canvas, it can be intimidating at sometimes, but for me, it's been really fun in this because I'm like, wow, if my North Star goal is to create a fun experience for Northwest Arkansas families, you can go crazy with that. Like you could come up with so many different things and you don't have to look at what everyone else is doing. You can come up with something completely unique, and that really gets me excited. And that's just a ton of fun. So I can't wait to build it out and bring people in and see them having fun together. Because I mean, at the heart of a lot of this is I want to build memories with my kids and have those family moments together. And I've had them on float parks before, and I want to give that to other people. I see my kids gravitate more and more towards screens, and I see what's going on with like social media and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of see this as my way of pushing back a little bit to give people something that's way more fun than all that stuff. Like, let's get out there together and let's just have fun together. Kind of like things were like back in my childhood, just go outside and play.
Yeah, I feel like every good startup is a solution to a problem in and of itself. Even if the goal is, creating these opportunities for memories and experiences, solving that problem of families needing that outlet or that activity. So it's it's a solution to a problem in and of itself. So that problem solving starts from there, and then onward.
Well, and one of the you find out so many things as you the more you dig into it, right? Like you might think, I want to make something that's like a fun water park. But then you find these pockets where you realize that there are families who might have like a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old, right? Totally common. And the 12
and a 2-year-old.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so we should talk after this. Because imagine, your 12-year-old might be like, hey, I want to try this mountain biking thing. I want to go rock climbing. I want to really get into this. But your younger one can't engage at the same level, right? And so you're constantly, as a parent, kind of juggling, what can we do where we can all do it together that's, safe and engaging for everybody. And so that's part of what I'm most excited about with the float park is we'll have like a miniature version for toddlers.
That's awesome.
Right. And that's in shallow water and the parents are right there helping them. Tons of fun. And the older ones, like they're jumping off.
Let them run wild.
Yeah. They're splashing and going crazy. And with kids their age, so you don't have any like big kids running over the little kids. Right. And then adults and parents right there on the big one too. Or I think a lot of the time I'll also be on the shore just with a cold drink, like letting them have fun, right?
Same. I'll be over there.
Yeah. So I think part of the value that we're hoping to bring is you don't have to pick and choose like, well, our teenager really wants to do this and they want to do this. Or me as the dad, I like to get out and have a lot of fun, but I'm like, what's the right thing for my kids at the ages that they're at? But knowing that we don't have to sacrifice that and just bring everybody because there's something for everyone.
That seems like one of those things where like the parents could see it or whatever, the adults, and they want to go and do it because they want to have fun, but then the kids end up having a great time. So it's just all around and brings the best for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Like chairlift, bike trail. I'm like, oh, when can I get out there? But I can't bring my 3-year-old to that, right? So I have to kind of decide, like, there's a trade-off. Do I want more time with my toddler? Which, yeah, that's important to me. or do I really want to take part in like all the great stuff around me? But a float park, you can get both.
That's awesome.
Thank you to Bank of America for sponsoring today's episode. As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $65 million in business loans and numerous business specialists right here in Arkansas, Bank of America can help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local businesses. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
So what's the, I guess the launch strategy? So this is you have a full-time job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a, not a side hustle, I guess, but kind of a building in parallel with a career itself. What's the launch plan?
Yeah, so you're right. I'm kind of building this in the margins,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's been about a year to get to this point of experimenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like validating, is there really something here enough for me to put in the time that it's going to take? Because it's a lot to juggle,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, right? So yeah, I mean, the vision for the launch is we're still securing the right location. We've got some really good candidates around here, some awesome places that it could be, all within roughly 30 or 40 minutes of I-49.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal, is to have something nearby. And then I'll be as involved as I can be, but largely hiring out a lot of the operations
Mm-hmm.
management, and then overseeing those lifeguards
Mm-hmm.
will also be done that way. I've been considering for hiring strategies. The question becomes, who's available in the summer, who knows how to lead,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or who can manage a lot of like chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I would love to give a good opportunity to like a public school teacher.
That's a great idea.
I've got so much respect for what they do. And so
They've got patience to
yeah, exactly. So that's a little bit of sort of the master plan is like, could we give someone who's looking for that opportunity something that will be a well-paying
Mm-hmm.
gig during the summer, right? And it doesn't conflict with our other plans. And then as far as the experience when someone arrives, it will be almost identical to what you would get at a trampoline park,
Mm-hmm.
right? So today, if you were to go to Sky Zone or Altitude, that's in a similar vein of what we're trying to do, right? Like it's really high energy, lots of fun. You would get like a wristband, you'd sign a waiver. In our case, you'd also get a life jacket.
Mm-hmm.
But then the experience that maybe for people who haven't been to a float park, an easy way to think about it would be like a trampoline park, but out on the water. And I realized as I've had conversations with some people, it's funny how I've been like 30 minutes into a conversation with someone and they say, oh, so you're talking about like, how big is it? And I explained to them like, we're talking about 30 yards of different floats. And they're like, blows their mind. Because they're picturing like basically a bouncy house.
Yeah.
Which is
Floating bouncy house.
Not too far off, but it is very different. And I'm like, no, you're gonna get your steps in running around this whole thing.
More like American Ninja course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's another great comparison, right? So, does that answer your question about launching though?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then something that our founder Jeff, who I'm sure you've actually emceed the event, always advises founders who are building something new, side hustles that they anticipate to become full-fledged businesses, to let your day job pay you for as long as you can while you build on the side and in the margins. Far too many people think, oh, I've got this great idea. I'm going to go ahead and put in my resignation notice and then go out and see what happens. But that's typically not the best approach.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is tough to manage both. But I do love my day job. If you're watching, especially. But yeah, in fact, I'm actually stepping into a role that's a lot more strategic partnering with people. I work in human resources.
Oh, that's right.
So I'll actually be helping with a large company to manage their benefit programs in other countries. So again, a lot of interesting things to solve for. And I've noticed that the things that I've been doing to kind of get out of my comfort zone with relationship building, building out a business, having that kind of top level vision and strategy, that is almost exactly the job description of what I'm doing at work. So there's a lot of like mutual benefit from doing both. So I'm really happy to say that one doesn't necessarily rise while the other falls.
Oh yeah.
And I think I wouldn't have guessed that, so I keep learning things like that where I realize, oh, this is a lot more manageable when it's like when it's the right idea, the right opportunity, so that it is fun and energizing,
Mhm.
like your question there, Ty. So like if it keeps propelling you forward and it keeps giving you energy and it coincides well with what you're already doing 9 to 5,
Mhm.
then like why wouldn't you want to try it?
Yeah. Another thing Jeff says, it's a good idea is hard to kill. You try
Yeah.
to, in terms of it kind of just kind of
Oh, I hope
working
that's true.
hand in hand. He also advises companies to try to kill it just to make sure that it's resilient enough
Saves a lot,
But just when everything kind of falls into place that way, it's,
Mhm.
almost like, you've got something.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And that's been an interesting thing when you talk about like, I've definitely gone through the motions of, okay, what would kill this idea,
Mhm.
right? And there are different like, worst case scenarios with things like water safety
Mhm.
and that sort of thing that I definitely want to acknowledge so that we can plan for and
Mhm.
prevent all
Absolutely,
of this, right? Right now, it's kind of like if I have a bigger perspective, I realize that some things are just speed bumps, but at the time they
Mhm.
feel like mountains,
Mhm.
right? So there are times where I think, well, if I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the community, people really want this to happen. More of it comes from the bureaucracy and the red tape and just kind of
Mhm.
making sure that everything's going through the right channels.
Mhm.
And sometimes I wonder, like, is this the reason why it hasn't happened yet?
Mm.
Because I am
Mm.
facing, I wouldn't say resistance, but it's a lot of logistics
Mhm.
to work through.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I see, like, hopefully, maybe not killing the idea, but the I guess the trial.
Stress testing.
Yeah, the stress test is like, okay, the customers are on board,
Mhm.
but can we get the partners
Mhm.
on board as well? So that'll kind of be what might make or break it at this stage.
And that's what prevents people from stealing that idea that folks have.
Exactly. I mean-
Implementation is the most important part.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about unfair advantage,
Mhm.
at first I laid it all out on my lean canvas, and I was like, I mean, part of what drove me to it is there's not a lot of barrier to entry.
Mhm.
But if you have the agreement from the state park, then that's your unfair advantage. So it's going to be worth it once we can finally find the right fit.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Being in the early stages of this, still creating it day by day, is this something that you're looking ahead to what the next 3 to 5 years of the float park would look like? Or are you wanting to stay in the moment and take the challenges on every single day of what there is to offer?
Yeah, good question. The challenges are going to come whether I want them or not, right? But I definitely, I've got a long-term vision here. I'm very much a planner, and I mentioned not. I'm pretty risk averse by nature, so I was like, before I take the first step, where is the finish line in this marathon, right? Like, is it going to be worth it in the end? Where is this going to lead to? So yeah, for multiple year plan here, I would love to open like the first float park to really prove out the concept, bring it to the region, show everybody what it's all about. And then if the community can support a second one, I would love to do another one in the Northwest Arkansas area. But then even as you start to move outward, you have places like Branson, you've got Fort Smith, there's Lake Dardanelle is a great state park, and that's a little bit closer like Russellville. So I would love to keep expanding because it is, the individual pieces are modular and the float parks themselves can be modular. Like one of the ways I've envisioned this is a shipping container, right? So I would have a shipping container with shelves and then all of my deflated obstacles.
It's all able to go in there.
Yeah, you just put it in there. But then that also serves as your check-in booth. It serves as your first aid station. It's like a portable building at
A
the
business
same
in a
time.
box.
Yeah, business in a box. So like part of my 3 to 5 year vision is like, if I kind of was renting space at a storage yard and I had, a couple of these storage containers, and at the beginning of summer, they all split up and went to different lakes and they had everything ready to go. So that's part of what I'm driving at for the future. We just got to get there.
No, totally. Something about Arkansas is no matter where you go, whether in the east over by Jonesboro and stuff, in the south, if there's lake and body of water, people swarm there. It seems
Absolutely.
like.
Yeah, and that's so scalable. Kind of one of the ways we kind of land the plane, so to speak, in the on the podcast is inviting our guests to go back in time. I know we're in the early stages of Ozark Float Park, but given your career thus far, if you were to go back in time and give your younger self advice, maybe it's right out of school or kind of maybe even earlier in your entrepreneurial journey, what advice would you give yourself with all the accumulated knowledge you have now?
Yeah. So it would be something along the lines of, don't be afraid to try something new. There's nothing wrong with doing what's safe, right? And I think you definitely have to analyze it to the point where it could be safe to try, right? Like I spent a while with this idea just on the shelf. And I remember doing an interview with a friend who ran like an indoor playground sort of business in Bentonville. And I was asking him about his experience, and I told him about my idea. And I thought, yeah, I'll probably never do it, but isn't it a fun idea? So I was decidedly not going to. But then kind of this like transformation where I was really trying to keep my ear to the ground about, has anyone tried this before? Is anyone else opening one right now? Like, am I just late to the game? I was really trying to stay plugged into what's going on in Northwest Arkansas, learning about resources, connecting with that state office. So like one thing kind of led to another until I realized, wow, like there's so much here if I just go over that tipping point. It can be very safe to try, right? In fact, the GORT program even offers some like seed funding. So it's like, hey, here's some funding to help you figure out what you're doing. And you don't have to come out of your own budget, right? Which is important for people like me. So the ability to sort of like explore whether something can happen, I would say like you if I could talk to my younger self, like you don't lose anything by exploring it. And when you know the right questions to ask and which are the green lights to tell you to move forward, then go try it out.
That's a great answer. And I think about something you said earlier in regards to, am I allowed to do this? Or, are there gatekeepers here to entrepreneurship? And just for those listening and watching, in some ecosystems there might be, but in Northwest Arkansas, I feel like it's uniquely positioned to on-ramp folks to opportunity or lower the barriers, so to speak, to that process. So
it seems like every couple of weeks I get an email from someone that says, hey, did you know there's this perk? And just because you're running a startup, you get this for free. And I'm like, what? So the amount of funding, support, all the stuff that's gone into to put all this together, I'm just impressed every day.
It is unbelievable.
What would you like for the viewers, listeners to know, I guess kind of taking away or as we wrap up about Ozark Float Park? Where can they reach out to you or contact, learn more?
Yeah, for sure. So we have ozarkfloatpark.com. So come and see what's happening over there. We'll be posting information. We'll be sharing sort of like proof of concepts to do testing to figure out like what are people the most interested in. We have a link there to our customer survey as well. We'll be at First Fridays on May 1st. So come say hi. That'll be a ton of fun. We'll have an activity that's like a miniature obstacle course for the kiddos. And just keep an eye out because pretty soon we're going to be like putting out the word of our launch date and our location, and we hope to see you out there.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Coming to a lake near you.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Great conversation. We're excited to see the launch and to support you on your journey, and hopefully have another conversation about the new locations on a future podcast.
Let's do it. Yeah, thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share with a friend. Subscribe and review because it matters to us and we want to hear from you. If you're interested in learning how to work with us, check out the information below. See you next week.